You want to be able to clarify what the person saw that made them say what they said, right? And at the end of the day, when you think about it, it helps you to seek to understand. So
Yeah.
you are trying to clarify something. That's why you're asking. And in clarifying, you get more information. You get more, should I say, data
Yeah.
that helps you to balance whatever it is in your head. So it's not all like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe this person said this to me.
Yeah. We're in a generation where people want you to be direct. So they almost feel like don't be
Sugarcoat.
sugarcoat. So exactly, to be like you are sugarcoating. Just come and tell me that my mouth is smelly. Don't tell me that, oh, I know, I like when you
I like when you smile.
smile, but when you smile and you open your mouth, it stings a little. But either ways, when you talk, you make sense.
If you're serious about how you show up in your relationships, your walk with God and life,
Well, that makes you one of us. It's Anu and Ololade here, and you're welcome to Let's Toast to Life.
in every episode, we have honest conversations about relationships, your fave, personal growth, and faith.
Sounds like what you love? Then plug in.
And let's toast to life together.
Hello everyone. You're welcome to another episode. It's Let's Toast to Life, and we are here.
My mom is a huge fan of our podcast.
Yeah.
Mommy, thank you so much.
Big shout out to Mama.
How many of you can say that your mothers or fathers are really like listening to your content and giving you feedback? Speaking of feedback, my mommy said that the intro that we use is not long enough. Mommy wants to be dancing.
She likes
the intro
with the music.
I don't even know how to sing it.
Yeah, but it's true because we changed our intro, right? We revamped it, and now we have like a pre-recorded standard intro.
Yes, and we try not to make it long, like maybe 3-4 seconds, then we get into the episode. But Mama wants it to be a bit longer.
She wants some nice music. So you guys, what do you think? Should we increase the music sound so you guys can dance a little before you get into the episode? We would like to hear your thoughts.
Or maybe actually it can be a signature for us that when people listen to our episode, we introduce them to a new song. This one will not be like intro. This one will be like a new song because we love music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it would be nice to be like, oh, okay, have you heard this song? This is the latest release on the radar. I don't know, random.
So, which kind of songs? Gospel songs?
Yeah, it could be gospel, It could be love, relationships, right? Clean, romantic songs for the lovers. Clean, not the one that's...
Not, baby, if you give it to me, I give it to you.
No, we don't want that one. That
I know what you
rubbish.
want. You know I gotta.
Yeah.
But
Talking about
the song I just
Johnny
sang.
Drill.
You know the song I just sang.
I know the song.
50 Cent or something.
So it's I'm sure I know the song, but like I don't know who sang it. Yeah, it's probably 50 Cent. In my heydays, my younger days when I used to listen to worldly songs.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So
what have we here today?
One of the things I am grateful to God for is the blessing of a church, right? And a church that is committed to training, discipleship, mentorship, and all of that. And shout out to our pastor. I'm not sure if he listens to our podcast, but anyways, dear Pastor JC Ayoma Morrison. That's like pretty much his full name. We attend a church here in Germany, Düsseldorf. It's called All Nations Church. We really love our church. And we have a training that we do. It's called Building Blocks. And the most recent teaching we had was about the benefit and the importance of a church. And one of the benefits we learned was that in church, you get the opportunity to be corrected, to receive correction and training. And, and when we were having the conversation, I shared within the group that the truth is we all know that correction is important, but we do not like to be corrected.
No, we don't.
We all have our ego.
We want to be the one to correct.
Yes, we want to be the ones to like say, hey, don't do this, go there, don't do that. But the moment someone corrects you and tells you, no, that's not how to do it, don't do it that way, it's like your ego is smashed, beaten, and immediately you just want to be defensive, or you just want to say, how dare you talk to me that way? Who are you? Who do you think you are? And sometimes even you're not bold to say it, you're saying it in your mind. That kind of thing. So Off the jump, right? Lolade, to be honest, on a scale of 0 to 10, how defensive are you? I would say mine, but let's start with
Thank you for
you.
the honesty.
Yeah, I would say mine, but just be honest.
We will both collect today.
Yes. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 means very defensive, 0 means no defense. How defensive are you when someone corrects you, rebukes you, criticizes you?
Okay, before I give you my score, I must say that it depends on who, it depends on what, and it depends on how.
Okay.
So, who is correcting me? What is being said? And how is it being said?
Okay.
I wish I could give you scores for those three different, like, should I say, elements that I consider,
Yeah.
but that would just be dragging it. So, let's just assume in general, I can be very defensive. So, on a scale of
Yeah.
1 to 10 or 0 to 10, I already said it. Like,
So you're like
I'm
11.
being on it. No.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Uh-uh. I would say I'm maybe 7.5. You
Okay.
know, when I was growing up, my parents used to tell me that I should become a lawyer because I loved to argue. I'm the kind of person that if you tell me this is wrong, at least growing up, I'd be like, why is it wrong? I want to understand. Give it to, like, explain to me why it is wrong. And then my goal, my job is to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what lawyers do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They are trying to prove beyond reasonable doubt that A is not A, but rather B. So I'd say I can be quite defensive, but I would also say that maturity has helped me,
Yeah.
and emotional intelligence also, which is why I said it is about who is correcting me, who is giving me a feedback. You know, not to say that like people my age or people that are in my maybe social circle cannot correct me. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there are some people that I would take their correction to heart.
Yeah.
I'll take it really personal and work on it. And there are some that I would just be like, okay, yeah, you said what you said, fair
No
enough.
wala.
No problem. We keep it moving. You
Yeah.
get. And then what are you even correcting me about? Is it high stake? Is it just something as a matter of you have a different opinion from me and then you're criticizing me because of
Yeah.
my opinion?
Yeah.
Then I would not really take you seriously.
Yeah.
And then the how, for me, it's even the most important. Like, how are you giving me the feedback? How are
Yeah.
you correcting me? Are
Mm-hmm.
you correcting me in a way that makes me feel like I'm not thinking?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to open my eyes to another perspective so that I can think about it in that way?
Yeah.
So that determines how I would respond.
So what is your have you said your
I
score?
already said 7.5,
7.5. Okay.
baby. So that
Okay.
means you are not attentive.
Okay, okay, okay,
For
okay,
all
okay,
the
okay.
things that I've been saying since, you don't hear 7.5.
No, because you said you're 7.5, you said it, but then you continued
Yeah, because I was trying to
explaining.
of course, I have to explain it because 7.5 is quite high. Someone who hears it will be like, this one they should they
So because
defend.
of your extra explanation, I missed that you said 7.5 before.
That one is on you.
Okay, I'll pause. Good. All right. So I guess you're waiting for me to give my own score, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So I would say I am on 6.5. Let's say 5, right in the middle.
Really?
But wait, there's a caveat. So if someone comes to correct me, I don't immediately like defend myself and say, oh, but why did you say this? I might just say, okay. But 5 means I will not have a rebuttal to what you said, but like 100 for pain. It will be paining me like this.
I was even thinking it would be lower, like a 4.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily say 4 because what I might not be defensive. So what I do more often is I explain my perspective. So, someone can come and give you a correction and you can like be defensive offensively, right? So you are fighting back, saying no, and then it becomes like a whole pandemonium, right? But for me, if someone comes and corrects me and says something to me that doesn't feel so nice, if it is an allegation about my character, I would try to explain myself, which can be said as a defense. I'll try to defend myself, like, okay, what you said was not what it actually was, but I won't come with an attack. It will be more explanation. That's why I give myself a 5.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I even overrated myself and scored like 7.5 will sound like
You
she's
always
very
fight back.
defensive. I always fight back. But now that you're saying it's about explaining your perspective, that's what I think I do for the most part. Like I said, when I was growing up, my goal was to prove you wrong.
Yeah,
But
that's a
with
difference. Yeah.
maturity,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's more like explaining, like, okay, this is how I see it, this is how I think about this. I also feel like another reason why I rated myself 7.5 is because generally I'm very self critical.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a me thing particularly or it's a female thing. And
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to know if, in terms of this topic feedback, that it's perceived and received differently based on the gender. You know how, let me give you an example. Men rate themselves so highly, like confidence when they go into a meeting, boardroom, whatever, interview. The way a man will have 50% of the skills necessary, but inflate himself
Yeah.
to make it look like he has 100% is like a given for most men. It's just something how you guys are wired. I don't know. But for women, we are more critical. And so even if we have 70, we may feel like, that's too much. So we will just, give ourselves 60. We'll say
Mm-hmm.
we have 55% of the skills, but we're willing to learn. So I see that dynamic also play out in this, that I am more likely to rate myself higher
Yeah.
than you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get that. I get that.
I would love to know what other people listening to us think. Like in general, would they rate themselves as highly defensive or not defensive at all? And I would love to know if the differences are very visible when you
Yeah.
look at the genders.
Yeah, yeah. Are women more defensive than men, or are men? But I just feel like women
Not
are more.
even are we more, but do we rate ourselves as more or less? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the reality, but more the perception.
Then let's hear what our listeners have to say. But then talking about, feedback, correction, all of this, one of the things that I discovered was that biologically there's an explanation to this, right? Why we are defensive. So it's not, we talk about emotional intelligence, where emotional intelligence helps us to regulate ourselves and know how to react. But the defense is instinctive. Every human, if you don't have, if your defense is zero and has always been zero, then you need checkup because you're not normal. Because in everyone, biologically, the brain area that is responsible for that defense is the same that responds to threats, physical threats. So it's like the fight flight response. So the same way, if you see a lion coming, you don't just see a lion and be like, oh, okay, this lion is coming, and okay, let's see what happens. The moment you see a lion coming, immediately your brain kicks off like, take flight, and you run away to protect yourself. It's the same area in the brain that's responsible for criticism or for correction. That when someone corrects you, the biological response is to defend yourself, to fight, and So I'm bringing this perspective into the conversation so people understand that being defensive doesn't mean you're a bad person off the jump. It just means that you're responding instinctively. You're responding to what your body and your brain is saying at that time. Like, this person is attacking you, so don't sleep, attack back.
That's a good point.
But the reason why we are Homo sapiens, we are thinking beings, reasoning beings, is that we don't live based on our emotions alone. Yes, our emotions have a role to play, but we're able to reason things out. Now, I want to ask you a question. I have a story in my mind, but I want to ask you a question. Was there a time where someone criticized you or corrected you? It pained you, and maybe you even got defensive, but then you went back, thought about it, corrected yourself, took an action, and you became better as a result of that correction?
I'm sure, definitely,
Okay,
yes.
I will tell you my story, and then if you have a story, you share yours. So this was me like some 6 years or 7 years ago. I used to host a show, so I was an interviewer in that show, and so I was giving my best, at least to the best of my knowledge, asking good questions, trying to recapitulate what my guests have said or what they said, and then one day I went back to an episode that I shot, and I was looking at the comments, and somebody was like, "Hey, Anu, you do well, but can you not repeat the same thing you have said over and over again? Say it and move on," something along that line. Hey, when I saw the person's comment, and this was public comment on YouTube. First I was like, who is this person? He paid me. Like, why will you come and give this kind of comment telling me? Like, it pained me initially. So I was like, oh, do I comment? Do I reply? I'm like, no, I can't reply this comment now. It's a bit too, doesn't make sense. But then I went back actually, and then I thought about it. So I went back, watched the video, and I saw exactly what the person was saying. That you made your point, move on. And so I learned, even though the criticism was painful, it felt like it was public, everybody could see. So I was like, so if thousands of people watch this video, they are going to come to this comment and see this about me. So my brand and my image was already like, but then I went back and worked on myself and improved myself. So that's my story.
I think my own story is I was just trying to think, okay, what can I share? Maybe I'll refer to the one that happened at my workplace when I initially joined the company and was put on a project. Now, I wasn't the owner of the project, or there wasn't a clear owner of the project.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was supposed to collaborate with one lady who was in another team on a relocation related project. So we're trying to set up this relocation system for newcomers. And along the line, I remember there was a time we had a meeting where it was very somehow, in the sense that I was expecting this lady to bring some information. She was expecting me to have done it. It wasn't really clear.
Yeah.
And my boss at the time thought that because I was put on the project, I should take responsibility and move it forward.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one that, should I say, because of my role, my title has more stake, basically. So I remember after that meeting, she was like, yeah, you know what? It would be nice if you can move this project forward by being more proactive and just doing this and that. And I was not happy with that feedback, because it was like, this is actually not my responsibility.
Yeah.
First off, it's not even clear who is owning
This stuff.
this from end to end.
Yeah.
We're just different stakeholders and we have to work together. There wasn't really a clear project manager. Apparently, I was supposed to be the project manager, but I was not aware. Yeah, talk about unspoken expectations. So the feedback I didn't really like so much, but then I thought about it and I was like, okay, even if I feel like this is not my work, my boss has already stated it somehow that she would like to see me taking more responsibility. So let me just do what I can and improve. And so that was how I just adjusted. And what I started doing was following up with that other lady, trying to say, okay, have you done this? Can you give me this information? Like I was the one setting up the meeting. So I had a better understanding of my task afterwards. And that helped me because then I was able to move the project forward to the point where I met with the chief people officer and presented my findings and all of those things to her. And yeah, it was well received. So I think what I learned from that is sometimes feedback is not always pretty, but if you try and break it down into smaller pieces, there's probably something you can learn and improve on that would help you personally at the end of the day.
That's nice. Okay, let's talk about a framework that I know you know about. It's called the pause method, right? On how to handle criticism, correction. So it's PAUSEE, like the pause. And of course, it's an acronym that you can work with when you want to handle moments where you're being corrected. So the P means pause, right, of the jump. And basically it's saying take 3 seconds before responding. I feel it's difficult to do if you've never done it before because if you're the kind of person that someone is correcting you and you just want to immediately respond, like to say 3 seconds, but I feel if you can tell yourself this, that okay, wait, I know you don't have to reply right now, just pause. So not even trying to count 3 seconds, but just telling yourself this while the person is speaking. You don't have to respond. You don't have to reply right now. Just calm. Then you can actually take advantage of the P, right? So the A.
This is asking, yeah? So to ask, which means you want to be able to clarify what the person saw that made them say what they said, right? And at the end of the day, when you think about it, it helps you to seek to understand. So you are trying to clarify something. That's why you're asking. And in clarifying, you get more information. You get more should I say, data
Yeah.
that helps you to balance whatever it is in your head. So it's not all like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe this person said this to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when you ask someone, why did you say this? And then they will explain that, oh, okay, I said this because this and this and this happened to me. And because that happened, I just thought this. And you might find out that it's not even as bad
True.
as you thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that asking is super important.
Yeah, great. So that's A, right? Ask. Then U is to understand the intent. I feel when you ask, you have the high chance of understanding the person's intent. So the rule of thumb is when someone corrects you or gives you a feedback, like 80% of the time, just assume the person has a positive intention. This helps you. It just helps your mind first. Of course, you can later discover that this person was trying to vilify you, humiliate you. That could be 20% of the time. But at least 80% of the time, just try to assume that the person is actually trying to help you. What I told myself, like, years ago was the person who is corrected gets better. The corrector does not get better. So if I'm coming to correct you, I'm not making myself better. I don't even improve in anything. But you who gets the correction, you have a chance to be better. So either ways you win. So yeah, that's you. Understand intent. Then the S
is to sort out the information, right? So now you've heard what the person had to say, they explained themselves, and then you're not like, okay, so this thing that the person has said now, is this thing true? How useful is this feedback for me? Is there something I can apply that will change my life? Like in my own case where I spoke about the feedback, like, yes, initially I was not very happy with what she said, and I felt like expectations were not clearly communicated to me. So how was I supposed to know that I'm supposed to be in charge of this, right? But afterwards, I was like, okay, actually, going forward, I guess I can improve.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can take some of the advice that she gave me and be a bit more proactive, And so that was how I was able to use the information
Yeah, yeah.
and sort it out for
Makes
myself.
sense. Take what makes sense
Mm-hmm.
and leave what doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. So yeah, you got to sort out what people say, and of course, the last letter is E, which means to extract an action. So, like the comment that the person left about me on YouTube. Then I said, okay, so I need to listen to myself more, pay attention to moments where I'm excessively repetitive and try to improve myself on it. So just take one thing to work on and be better. I guess that's like the goal of every form of correction is for you to be better.
Mm-hmm. But there are cases where people just want to be correcting, and the people that they are correcting, it's not like what they are doing is bad. It's just a case of this is maybe their personality or something like that. The reason why I brought this up is because I wanted us to acknowledge that it's not every feedback that will be taken.
Yes,
You
or that you
know,
need to take.
or that you need to take. At the end of the day, is you figuring out how does it serve you?
Yes.
What is at stake? Is it that your job is at stake, your life is at stake? If it's just something as I don't know, something like this where it's a difference of opinion,
Yeah.
then you can wait and decide if you want to take it
Or not.
or not.
Yeah, not every correction you would have to take on board, but follow the pause method. So this is where the sorting comes into place. Like, so sort it and figure out what you should take and what you shouldn't take. I wanted us to wrap up with how to give correction. And why that is important is because we live in a very sensitive generation where now you don't want to offend somebody. Like, you can see that this person is making a mistake, but you're like, if I talk now, they will say, why am I talking? People are so sensitive. But then how do you give correction in a very sensitive generation? My approach, which I realized or I'm hearing nowadays that it does not really work as much, but I still believe in it, is the sandwich approach. And it is say something good, put your correction in between, end with something good. I feel like it works, but I feel we're in a generation where people want you to be direct. So they almost feel like don't be sugarcoat. So exactly, to be like you are sugarcoating. Just come and tell me that my mouth is smelly. Don't tell me that, oh, I know, I like when you smile, but when you smile and you open your mouth, it stings a little. But either ways, when you talk, you make sense. Nobody really would. They would think like, why you just tell me that my mouth stinks, and then I will work on it. So, but I still believe in the sandwich. Like, do it when you feel it can work. But I also believe that you have to sometimes learn how to be direct. But I feel you should be kind, and this is where there's a difference. Be direct, but don't be brutal. Don't be wicked. So
Mm-hmm.
say your correction direct, or be kind in your approach. That would be my
Yeah.
2 cents.
I remember in my company, there was this concept that they introduced us to called radical candor. It's about how you are very direct with your feedback because you care about the person.
Yeah.
So your intention is you want the best, you want what is best for that person. And this is why
Yeah.
you have to really be direct so that there's no need for misunderstanding,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not about being brutal, but rather making sure that the person understands clearly what you mean
Yeah.
and can improve. So I found that quite interesting. But I also have to say that culture plays a role.
Yeah.
In some cultures, like for example, the German culture, being direct is expected, being
Mm-hmm.
direct is the norm.
Yeah.
So a German doesn't have a problem telling you, I don't like the way you smiled at me yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird and awkward. Germans can literally tell you that. Whereas in African countries, I mean, that can be seen as a bit rude, where you are directly saying you don't like what someone did to you. You have
Mm-hmm.
to figure out a way to say it because in some cultures, there is this thing about humility. So when you are humble, the way you give feedback is also in a very humble manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to quote it very well to not show that you are perfect and all that. So there is the culture that will always be,
Influencing.
influencing how people give feedback.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I think the goal is to be kind
Yeah.
and to care.
Yeah.
However you want to deliver your feedback, just think about how to be kind
Yeah.
and how to show that you really care for the person.
Makes sense. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We hope today's episode brought you some good knowledge, right? And if it did, please feel free to share your thoughts on the comment section, or let us know how do you handle feedback. Just be honest. So if you can rate yourself, that would be nice because we rated ourselves. So how defensive are you? So let us know how defensive you are, and also how do you respond to correction. Would love to read from you, respond to your comments, and do the work of an evangelist. Share this link to people that you love and that you believe this episode would be a blessing. Till we come your way next week, don't forget to toast to life, because life is worth living.
Toodles.
Toodles. Ciao.